to Narrative and Beyond with Michael Adekombi. I still have my... Welcome to Narrative and Beyond with Michael Adekombi. I remain your host. Today I have a professor, he's a scholar on this show today who is joining us today. And his major area of concentration is in environmental sciences and waste management and water resource management and etc. Maybe he will be speaking to us more on that. And he's a senior lecturer, he's an associate prof, a senior lecturer in the School of Environmental Sciences, University of Venda. I don't know whether that is correct or not. In South Africa, he's based in South Africa, and then he's doing phenomenal works, across the globe. I've seen some of his articles and journals with peer-to-peer reviews and all of that. Fantastic, Today I have Joshua EDOKPAYI on the show today. Welcome on to this platform, Narrative and Beyond.
Yeah, thank you so much, and thanks to the viewers.
Okay, I'm just going to be asking you a few questions. I'm sure that our viewers are going to enjoy this conversation because I'm very interested in the kind of work he's doing. It's very novel, as I will put it. Now, can you just run us through your background? How did you arrive at this point of being an academia and in the field of environmental sciences? How did you get here?
All right, thank you so much. Well, I started my journey as a scientist right from my secondary school days. I love science. I am intrigued with the environment, what happens around me, and stuff like that. So, but from my primary school days, just like any other child, you want to be a medical doctor or you want to be an engineer. Accountancy now, I never wanted to be an accountant, but medical doctor, engineer, scientist. So those were the unwritten rhythm, from which I grew up from. But looking at my prowess in the sciences, physics, chemistry, biology, mathematics, then I think pursuing a career in science will be best for me. So after my O-level exams, I excelled in those scientific-based courses. Of course, I passed everything, but yeah, since my core area was science, so I got admission to study chemistry in the Ladoke Akintola University of Technology. That was not what I wanted initially because I still wanted to do my medicine. But since it didn't work out, I'm one of those who believes that everything works together for good. So I believe there was a purpose for which I have been accepted or admitted to pursue a career in chemistry. So I continued with chemistry. It was fascinating. I was one of the best students in chemistry. I tried to come up with a first class, but I couldn't make it to first class, but I made it to a very strong second class upper with CGPA above 4. Even though I was busy with several other things, as a student, but that was it. But I remember that during my undergraduate days, we had a professor, he's late now, Professor Abbas. That guy is very good. When it comes to class, everywhere is lively. He teaches without books. In fact, he has written about 2 or 3 books at that time. So in a way, he inspired me. I love his class. I look forward to his class. If you attend a maths class, you can't fail. You can't just fail because of the way he teaches, the aura he brings into the class. It inspired me so much, and I felt, okay, I think this is something I would like to do. Of course, I wanted a job where I'm going to have a good control of my time. That is a bit very flexible. That's not just a straight jacket thing. You do the same thing every day. And I think academia gives me that. Sometimes you can be in the field doing field work. At other time, you can be in class teaching. At another time, you can be in an international conference. You network with people globally. So I think, yeah, this was very great for me. I had very good teachers growing up. And I think in a way, they influenced my choice. And again, I have a natural ability to teach. I teach for free. You don't need to pay me to teach. So I teach for free, even from my university days. I teach people for free. So in one way or the other, I know that this is not just a gift. It's also a calling to impact, my generation with this talent I have received.
All right. Well, interesting. There's something you said now that caught my attention. It is not just a gift or a calling, right?
Yeah.
So how can a young person, or how can young people discover their calling, what they are being called, or what God has proposed them to do?
All right, thank you so much for that question. I would say it is twofold. The first fold would be to connect to your creator. I mean, every one of us, we are not a product of accident on earth. There is a reason for which you were born. So if you can reach out to your creator to ask, why am I here? What am I doing here? I believe that's one way you can know what you are called to do. Secondly, what's your passion? What are you passionate about? What is it that you can do for free? Definitely, if you not do it for money, you are going to have more money, because naturally you can do it for free. When other people are discouraged, you are never discouraged, because it comes to you naturally. For some, it's football. For others, it's journalism. For others, it's teaching. Like me, I just like teaching. I mean, I can teach for a whole month. You don't pay me, I will still come the next day to teach, because I just like to do it. So I believe if you find your passion, what is that thing you are passionate about? What is driving you? What is it that you can do even without being appreciated or recognized? You still feel like doing it. You just feel it's part of you and you can't do without it. So I think that is one of the way I think this is what I'm called to do.
Thank you. All right. So you wanted to do medicine, then you found yourself then being accepted into chemistry. You excelled at it. So what's the relationship between chemistry and environmental sciences? And how did you get into environmental sciences?
Okay, thank you so much. You see, today I asked myself, would I really wanted to be a medical doctor? Sometimes as a child, you really don't know what the profession is all about. You just see them in their white coats, which we also have in chemistry,
Yeah.
And you just like it. You see them treat lives, you just like it. But again, I see the way they work now, because my wife is one, then I ask myself, is this really what I wanted to do? I don't think this is really what I wanted to do. So I can say finding myself in chemistry was orchestrated by the Lord. I can say that without missing word. Now, while I was in chemistry in my undergraduate days, yeah, most of our chemistry was theoretical, with a few practicals, the general practicals we do, titration, organic chemistry, and stuff like that. I kept telling myself, this is not what I want. I want to affect lives. I want to affect the lives of people. I remember a professor would say, if you cannot explain the chemistry you do to your grandmother, then you are wasting your time. I do some very complex inorganic reaction mechanism that even myself, I don't know why I'm doing it, but because my supervisors, say, this is your project, this is what you should do. So I keep telling myself, this is not what I want. I want something that relates to life. I want something that can impact people. I want to do something that I can tell the story, to people. And when I finished my master's, I did my master's in ABU, Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. So after I finished my master's, my supervisor then called me and said, I want you to do a PhD. I said, yes, but I don't want to continue with what I'm doing. I'm not enjoying it. I want to look for a new challenge. I want to do something that impacts the lives of people. So I want to take a gap year. I just want to take a gap year. I just want to think. I just want to ask myself, is this really what you want to do? And divinely arranged, within that gap year, I got a connection to come do my PhD in South Africa. And the opportunity was a PhD in environmental sciences. I said, wow, I think I like this. And I remember the professor told me, since your background is chemistry, then you can walk around things relating to chemistry. So you can become an environmental chemist. And here you can solve real life problems. You can look at the impact of chemicals on human health, the impact of chemicals on the environment. So you see, my desire for medicine in a way, is coming back. I can say, oh, so I can still do health thing. I can still look at things that affect humans. I can also look at things that affect the environment. And I said, yeah, this is exactly what I want to do. So that was how I found myself in environmental sciences. Now I work with guys in public health. When I was doing my postdoc in the University of Virginia in the United States of America, I was given two offices. One is in the Department of Public Health. The other one was in the Department of Civil Engineering. I was sponsored by Faculty International, and we were looking at the impact of water on human health. I mean, everything I ever dreamed of becoming, I see them before my face. I can actually do something that can affect human health. I can do something that can affect the environment. And I'm like, yes, this is it. And that is how I grabbed it with the whole of my heart. And I've been pursuing it. I still work with medical doctors. I still work with public health specialists, epidemiologists, hydrologists, microbiologists. And the work I do has really taken me beyond what, I thought I would have gone through, in life.
Awesome. Now, this is giving me another thought to ask. What would you say are the impact of toxic waste from industries on the environment? And of course, that's vis-a-vis human health now. And how can we mitigate that, especially as a continent of Africa? I think that's the question.
Yeah, thank you. I can say in Africa, we still have a long way to go. I did a course in the University of California. That was about 2 years ago, and it was called ecotoxicology, where we wanted to look at the impact of chemical on the environment, looking at the very minute living thing in the environment, organisms that are at the cellular level to the tissue level, up to the organ and system level. And as we were in that class, in the US, I remember telling my colleagues that it is Africa's time to pollute the world, because every industrialization we see in Europe, in Asia, like in China, in Japan, in America, they polluted the world, to have the kind of industrial revolution they did have. So I was telling them, I think it is our time as Africans, to pollute the environment so that we also can emancipate, the way they did. But that was on a lighter mood. But come to think of it, in many developed world, what they do is they pollute, then they remediate, they clean up. And now they tell us in Africa, don't pollute, but we want you to develop. So it's something we really need to think about, that what is it that we really want. But coming to Africa, we have a lot of chemicals in the environment that are detrimental to human health. We have what is common now is microplastics. I mean, it's everywhere because we have a problem of solid waste management. So if you don't manage solid waste properly, so most of the plastics we have are going to end up in the environment. And those plastics ending up in the environment, they are going to break down into what we call microplastic and nanoplastics. And this plastic will affect the fish we eat. It can decline even their population, and they create a possible pathway to humans when they become biomagnified across the food chain. Then we humans, mostly those of us that are fish lovers, now when you eat some of those fishes, you become contaminated. I mean, microplastic has been seen in newborn babies, has been seen in the breast milk of mothers, have been seen in the even in the placenta of mothers, and that's to tell you they are ubiquitous, you know, in the environment. Apart from that, we have what we call forever chemicals. Like you have what I call the PFAS, perfluoro octanoic acid. Now, this PFAS is some of the things we use to make non-sticky materials. Like when you have pots or you have pans that are not sticky, it is because they are made from PFAS. And these PFAS are highly carcinogenic. They can cause a lot of cancer. They can cause a lot of reproductive defects. But people don't know about it. You know, sometimes you think because you are rich, you know, you have the money to afford something that gives you less stress, but you don't know the impact, you know, that can have, you know, on your health. Like the raincoat we wear, anything that is not sticky, they are made from, a majority of them were made from PFAS, and they cause a lot of problem, you know, in human health. One thing I've come to discover looking at the developed and the developing world is that some of these guys in the developed world, they regulate some of these chemicals. But we in the developing countries, there's little or no regulations. And because there are no regulations, we tend to ship in a lot of these materials into the continent. And when we ship in these materials into the continent, definitely the detrimental impact of these chemicals, you know, will be seen both in livestock, both in the aquatic life, and of course, in human health. So what can we do to mitigate it? Corruption is a problem. Anywhere there's corruption, there cannot be development. Because Africa have good legislation, we have good environmental laws, but when it comes to the point of enforcement of these environmental laws, that's where we fail. There's what we call a polluter pay principle, which means if a company pollutes the water resources, they should clean it up, they should pay for it. But I tell you, I remember one of the private school I attended in Benin. We have a very big company that kept releasing their effluent into the river, and the fishes there are dying, but people still go because they don't know. You know, people still go, and they, you know, people still go, they take water from that river, they drink it, they bath with it. I just shake my head and said, if these people only know what this will cost to their health, you know, they will not do it. But the problem is, sometimes you cry to the government, nobody's listening to you. So you are left alone. Unlike big companies in Europe, in the US, you pollute the water resources, and we could link some clinical trials, human trial studies to the pollutant that comes from your company. You are going to pay for cleanup. You are going to pay compensation on the health of the people you have damaged. But in Africa, we are not yet there. So we still have, I can say where we are 100 years behind. We are actually 100 years behind. We have a lot of catch up to do if we want to present an environment that is free from toxic chemicals. There's a lot coming to my mind. I remember one time I was at home and a guy was doing open bunny. I took my textbook and I went to him. In case you don't know what you are doing, can you see what you are doing? This open bunny, you are burning refuse, you are doing this, you are releasing a lot of toxic chemicals into the environment that people are going to breathe. So sometimes you hear somebody sleep, he doesn't wake up, you think he's a witch. He's not a witch. This person has been exposed to a lot of chemicals. In fact, one of the higher killers of babies and even people with immunocompromised immune system are air pollutants. A lot of air pollutions. We burn tires, we burn refuse. All of these are made of chemicals that at the end of the day, we inhale them and they cause a lot of impact on our health.
Thank you. Hi. Okay. How can we mitigate toxics in the environment as individuals, as residents? Because I believe that awareness is the first thing, right? People need to be aware first. They need to know. It is the knowledge that you have. You cannot give what you don't have. You have the knowledge first. How can we, as residents of this environment, mitigate the impact of these toxics on our health?
All right.
Maybe from what we eat. You've spoken about non-stick pans, non-stick pots, non-stick foil, non-stick. So many non-sticks now. So how can we mitigate? Having to allow our health to be compromised because of the exposures to some of these toxic waste in the environment and even in our homes, because some of these products are in different homes. What do we do actually in practical terms to ensure that we don't get our health compromised?
Yeah, thank you so much. I think one of the things we need to do is we should try and read the product we buy. You see, sometimes we go to the market, we buy stuff, we don't read. Because if you read some of the products you buy, because mostly in developed world, any company that puts any chemical in their product, they should disclose whether that product can harm the consumers or not. That is why if you buy an alcoholic beverages, they will tell you it's 4% alcohol or it's non-alcohol, it's 16%. Why are they doing that? They are trying to make you understand, if you don't want to drink alcohol, then this is what you should go for. This is 0%. But if you think you can take 4%, yeah, we have the 4%. But we have some very bad alcoholic beverages of up to 20%. And when you take it, you are knocked down. But if you go and buy a 20% alcohol thinking it's non-alcoholic wine and you drink that, you can't sue the company that produces that alcohol because it was written clearly, on the labels. So I think we need to be people who reads. Most of us, we buy cars, we buy phones, we buy stuff. We don't read the manufacturer. We don't read. We are people that don't read. So we need to start reading, such that if you see the name of anything that you are not sure of, now we have AI, go browse about it. What are the likely side impact of this thing? We live in a global economy, you'll be able to know. I would say number one, why some of us, even if you read, you see something like PFAS, you don't know what it is. You don't know what PFAS is, you don't know what microplastics are, you don't know what plasticizers are, you don't know some of those things. I think number one, we should be careful of what we wear and what we eat. If you have any non-stick product in your house, is a no-no. Is a no-no. Okay. You are frying your eggs, you are frying your chicken, all of those stuff with a non-stick pan. I tell you, if your blood sample is taken and we run it, you are going to see some traces of some of these PFAS in your bloodstream as a result of the non-stick pans you have used for a very long period of time. Some of these chemicals, some of them have acute toxicity, which means the clinical manifestation of their toxicity will be shown in a short time. But majority of them are chronic. They are accumulated over the years. So you can start taking a poisonous thing today, it will do nothing to you, but will surely do something to you in 20 years' time. So because you are using it now, you are not feeling sick, you feel it's okay, but on the long run, it's going to cause some kind of problems to you. So the first thing is check what you use. Check some of the toys we buy for our kids, there are PFAS in it. Every non-stick, waterproof, if you check very well, there's one fluorooctaic compound that is likely going to be there. So that's one thing we need to check. You don't want to eat so much of processed food, because some of the preservatives that are added some of them are carcinogenic. Before in Africa, we don't have cancer because we eat organic vegetables. We eat
right
organic.
From the garden.
Right from the garden. Yeah. But today, we think we think we are being wealthy. When you
civilized.
Civilized. When you take some of this canned food, you take canned beans, you take canned fish, you take canned tomatoes, you take many of these canned things, they have one or two chemicals. Of course, a chemical that can prevent something from spoiling definitely is likely going to do something to your system. And we are not sure what it may do to your system, but you want to minimize it. Unfortunately, we can't stop it outrightly, but you can minimize it. You want to eat green. You want to eat green things as much as possible. You want to live in a healthy environment. That is why I tell you, best lives are found in the villages compared to city life. In fact, I think some studies have it that people who live in the villages tend to live longer than people who live in cities. Why? In the villages, we have a lot of trees. These trees can sequester some environmental pollutants, like many air pollutants. Some of these trees will trap them. They will trap some of these air pollutants. And look at the issue of global warming. Is as a result of so much methane gas, carbon dioxide, ozone, that are released into the environment. And now everybody say plant a tree. If you cut down one tree, plant 2 trees, so that so that these trees can help in sequestering some of these things. Thirdly, you don't want to be in overcrowded environment. Unfortunately, many of our big cities, many of our big cities are crowded. So you want to be careful when you go to crowded places. So sometimes the use of nose masks become very important. It may not be 100% effective, mostly if you're in crowded places, but it is also effective to some extent. You want to maintain good hygiene. Hand washing is very important. Just as little as hand washing. And if you check, most of these things can be traced to the Bible. Most of the technology we have now, things on hygiene, exclusion, can actually be traced to the Bible. So hand washing, you always want to wash your hand. You go out, you come back, please wash your hand. Use a simple bar soap. It's not expensive. You want to be hygienic. Wash your hand. You go to the toilet, you come back, wash your hand. You want to eat a vegetable, wash it thoroughly. Some of these little things, you may think they don't have an impact on your health, but they do. They do have an impact on your head. You don't want to burn refuse, because when you burn refuse, there's a lot of chemicals that are released. In Africa, when people are not happy with their government, they burn tires. You don't know what is in that tire. And you that you are burning the tires, you are also there. You are there shouting, we not go agree. But I tell you, those tires you are burning contains thousands of chemicals that are injurious, to your health. Unfortunately, you want to stay in a ventilated environment. You want to be in a place where there's a lot of fresh air. So you want to always open your windows so that there can be exchange of gases. What you have inside of your room can go out, and fresh air outside, can come in. You don't always want to be in the office space. You're always in the car. You're always in the office space. No, you want to do some exercises. You want to run around. You want to go for so for some excursion and stuff like that, where you go to a green environment so that you are able to, breathe in unpolluted air. You go to pristine environment for your vacation. Don't go to a very busy place again. At the end of the day, all of this can have trees in your house, have homegrown gardens if you have a yard that can, that can accommodate that. So to some extent, we can't reduce chemicals because chemicals are not bad. Imagine living in a world full of mosquitoes. You need some of those chemicals to help control some of these pathogens. But I tell you, what can kill a mosquito can kill you. It's just a matter of dosage. If we give the mosquito a little dose, if we increase that dose as per your body weight, that same chemical has the ability, the potential, to affect your health.
Wow. Thank you very much. It's been a lot, a very interesting session with you, and so much to take in, so much information to take in. We're going to pause just a bit. We're going to have a break right now. And then when we come back, we'll continue with Professor Joshua EDOKPAYI on this platform. Please stay tuned. Welcome back to Narrative and Beyond with Michael Adi Kombi. I say